I'm Phumla Ngcobo. I'm from Durban right now. It's not my home, but it's where I live. I'm from Epula. What I currently do is I'm a communications officer. I work for a research company. We research HIV and TB in Durban and in Mndela, and I really love it. I feel like it's quite a meaningful job that I do. Obviously, HIV and AIDS is a very big thing, and I think I play my part in it, and so it's really nice to like wake up in the morning and just know that I'm spreading the message about HIV and TB. I'm ensuring that somebody knows something different. Spreading the message about the research in HIV and TB and the advancements and so on. So I really enjoy it. I really like it. So
what has been the most common misconception that you've been getting since you're saying what you've been spreading that message of HIV and TB?
It's not really like misconception. So basically, in Duba side, it's obviously very rural. So we're like, we guess we're still at the point where we're just trying to teach abantu the basics about ingculazi to make them understand. We're still working with those stigmas and about HIV, but also we try and make people understand what the research esiyenzayo ibaluleke kangakanani and the differences oyenza emphakathini yabo, and also just trying to get the word out there, as abanye abantu abaningi abazi ukuthi yini research, abantu abamnyama especially emakhaya. So we try to teach abantu ukuthi yini ucwaningo, why idingekile ukuthi sithathe igazi lakho silise lab ukuthi sikwazi ukwakha amaphilisi, understand ukuthi ingculazi yenzani emzimbeni yabantu. So basically those are the main things, like that's my job, like trying to make people understand ukuthi what research is, trying to break the barriers of research, trying to share the message that science is for everyone and science is for every language. So one of the things, like when I continue studying, what I'm interested in is like science in isiZulu, like translating science in Nguni languages, and okusho ukuthi ucwaningo, like trying to explain to also science abantu abanjani benza kanjani. So ukuthi because ukuthi abantu abamnyama abayithandi science or abantu basemakhaya abayithandi science, kokunye ukuthi uqonda ukuthi lamagama lawa achaza ukuthini, you know, uqonda ukuthi what is this. So once leyo nto isho ngolimi lakho, you start to understand like, oh okay, khulunywa ngeenkanyezi ezinjena, igazi enjena beliswa kwi-laboratory, into enjena, yabo indawo yokucwaninga yokubhekisisa, yabo. So you start to understand and you start to relate and to see how it affects you in life, and then that's how you grow love for anything in life.
So that even your mama can just read it.
Yeah, even no mama singakwazi ukubhala ama-articles, you know, ama-articles about science, about igazi, siwabhale ngesizulu, but ngesizulu esiqondakalayo, not lesizulu where you open the dictionary and you sort of like translating like that, but into that's interesting, where you can write like novels, you can write stories, like you can do engaging stuff in people's languages. And so that's more intrusive, like including everyone in the narrative of HIV and AIDS. So
do you think that maybe because HIV and TB are such big, I think it's heavy topics, and there's not a lot of information about it, do you think maybe the lack is that the language is the biggest thing, and people can't access the information because they don't understand it?
I think there's not a lack of information. There's a lot of information, but I think for me personally, the more ngisebenza nabantu emphakathini, the more ngibona ukuthi information ikhona kodwa abantu abayiqondi kahle. So I'm asking myself, abantu abayiqondi kahle ngoba mhlambe ayenziwa ngalo limi lawo abalikhulumayo. So that's why I want to look into that, is that the information is there, but are we telling it in the right way? Is there other ways if I see engaging ngazo ngabantu indlela esimele sikhulume ngazo ngabantu, because ko SABC ayenziwa ama-ads kuyenza ukuthi like
even like stories, like
iningi information about ingculazi HIV yonke, but still abantu basayi-contractor, still abantu basayithola ingculazi. Why? Like,
Could it also
why?
just be the idea that I can see it on TV, but I can never really think it could come close
So
to
that's why sifanele siqale sibhale izinto, siqale sikhulume nge-language yabo abantu. Umuntu ukhulume naye ngendlela azoyibona ukuthi cha ngempela akudlalwa la, you know. And also just making people understand the science and the research ukuthi no lento yenziwa la ukuthi, and we're not just coming emphakathini sothatha igazi lenu sidlala ngani, no, senza lezi zinto lezi because they play a bigger picture, you know. That one day owazi ukuthi ngaba khona ikhambi lengculazi, and this is the role your blood is playing as an HIV positive and an HIV negative person. Ilezi zinto sizobona phakathi egazini lakhe ezosiza ukuthi sithole lamakhambi esiwadingayo, you know. So that's my thing, that's my vibe.
Where is Phumla Ngcobo from?
Oh, she's so rural. I'm so rural. Wasemakhaya, or ekhaya isebulwa. Entabeni zoKhahlamba, it's in the Drakensberg Gardens. So that's my home, but I also went to school. I used to live in Underberg, so I went to school in Heimville, like 5 k's away. I went to Faithway Christian school then, but it's Faithway College now. I'm matriculated in a class of 7 girls. Yeah, there was a time when there was only 2 of us in grade 4 and 5.
The matric list is always like so small.
It's like no one. So I used to say I come from a private school because obviously like you basically have a tutor if there's like 7 of you at school. So that's my home. So I grew up. I also grew up in a children's home. So I have a foster mom who I really love. A mom, just say mom. She's like the most amazing person ever. She's so strong. So she raised me and my 4 other foster siblings. 2 of them are twins and then 2 brothers. So yeah, that was my life growing up with like almost 70 plus children in the same family structure. It was amazing. A lot of people think if you grow up in a children's home, it really sucks and stuff, but I really think I was better off because I used to look at my peers who abahlala lokishini and stuff like that, you know, and I used to say actually I'm not that bad, you know. I grew up in a very loving structure. We were raised Christian, we were raised like with a lot of love, you know. There was nothing like I felt angenayo bengidinga izicathulo angizithola angakaze ngilale ngingadlile. It's just I really grew up with like a lot of love from that family, like my foster family, and from like my, what is it? It's paternal, maternal, gagama. Yeah, yona that's like by my mom's side, like my aunt. She's like a very strong woman. She's like very loving. She's still raising like so many children. Like she only 3 are only her own, but she's like raising so many other children. So she like loves me so much. She loves me like I'm her own. Like I never felt like there was a day ever. So sometimes I feel bad when I say like, oh, I don't have my mom, because I feel like it's like, you really had like these really strong women like taking care of you and like pushing you. So you can't really say you don't have a mother. So I don't have a biological mother, but I have like a lot of mothers who like raised me with like so much love
and what do you feel the difference was in like growing up in the foster home and then going back to your aunt's place and stuff? Like, did you feel was there any difference?
Shift of environment.
There's definitely a shift in environment when you grow up in those 2 places. But for me, I think the hardest thing is that you know you go home and it's just like people don't really understand you. It's like, why don't you live home? Like, why don't you live home 24/7? And you also, when you live in a children's home, that you're sort of not like an outsider, but people from outside, they don't really like understand you. It would be, oh, those kids from that place, you know, those kids from whatever. But there's just so much love inside that those things don't really matter, because wherever you are, even when you're on your own utopian like home with your mom and your dad and your siblings, there's always going to be people that don't understand you.
Yeah.
So, and just for me, it was sometimes hard because some of the kids I used to live with, they don't really have a supporting family structure like mine. Like I could grow up there, but I knew that my family was there, and in holidays they're okay, I can go there. But I'd go there, I'd go home, and then when I come back, the other kids would be like, how is it? It's like, how is it having a family and stuff like that? How is it? So you just realize that actually I was really privileged, even though I didn't have my mom, and maybe I grew up in a children's home because I needed an education and stuff. It's just really privileged to also have a biological side of a family who really love me and really want to take care of me the best that they could. So yeah.
Could you say it opened more doors for you in terms of like, you know, giving you more opportunities?
Definitely. My mom was a domestic worker. I don't think she would have been able to take me to Rhodes. That's like one of the I mean, I went through Rhodes through NASPIS, but I mean just a whole lot of like other factors, like ukufunda, homework, uba kule skole lesi engangikusona, like simple things. You know, my mom was a very hard worker. My mom, she provided a lot of things as a pillar for me, but I do look at it back now, like realistically, ngibona ukuthi ezinye izinto mhlawumbe engiyazi akwazi ukunika zona. So I think uNkulunkulu like uyayibonelela into, you know, something bad happens, but then there's always something good that happens. It sort of all like balances itself out.
Yeah.
That's life, I guess. But I think my mom would be happy with where I am now, because the one thing why I say, I'm so please do this. And education for her, even my aunt used to say like education for my mom was just like the it factor. So I think I got that, and I think she's proud. Yeah.
Beautiful. Have you always wanted to get into communications? Or like when you're in
I think communications like wanted me, because they do these tests where they check your careers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And every time I used to get the same field, communications, psychology. It's like I've always had to be in a field where I'm with people and just working with people, working with communities. Like that's where I feel, for me, I'm like doing my best. I'm like making a difference. It's like if I'm teaching people, if I'm engaging with people. So I think if I wasn't going to be here, I mean, I was in journalism, now I'm in communications. If I wasn't going to be here, I would probably be in something else that involves like people. If I was going to be a lawyer, I probably would have been a human rights lawyer or something like that. It's just, I'm all about like spreading knowledge and just making sure that abantu bayazi like amalungelo abo for one, and that everyone's treated fairly, you know. So those are like my main things that I just want to do with my life. It's just like make sure that wonke umuntu is independent, 50-50, si right song, yabo. So that's just like my thing in life.
So where do you see yourself like in the future? Let's take 10 years from now. Where are you financially, career-wise, and emotionally, mentally?
Oh guys, I'm sitting in a boat somewhere in Mndela.
Why are we done?
10 years. Oh guys, since no, 10 years. 10 years you'd be surprised. What is in days of fast and in 10 years, le masters yami sengiqedile. Who knows? Probably even a PhD. Because my name is Phumla Ngcobo, but you can call me doctor. Yeah. Aside, I want that, and I just want, like, what I'm working on now is just, I know you're asking me like 10-year goals, but like what I'm doing more often is just working on like the small goals, like, because I don't want to like overwhelm myself. It's just like I find that when I put pressure on myself to say, oh, so I'm at a place now where I'm just working at the small things. Like I'm taking the baby steps. I'm like, Next week I want to have done at least my 10Ks and this and that. So like I'm not running away from that question, but I'm just like saying, because I've been putting so much pressure on myself to do certain things and I haven't achieved them now, I've stopped saying, I'm gonna whatever. I've just done the smaller things like day by day and like accepted those achievements and stuff. So maybe in the next 2 months, by end of September, now I just want to put in that master's application and then start doing it from then and hopefully succeed. Then I'll take it after that. We'll see what happens after that. So that's my goal for now. And hopefully next year or end of year sometime, I'm going to do my first 21K. Yeah. So it's just small goals.
So Comrades Marathon kind of...
You see, now you're pushing it. You're doing it like what I said I mustn't do. So I'm just doing it small by small. Because in Bonil, it's better and bigger. I won't get my big goals. My cool, and then sometimes I feel overwhelmed. So I'm bigger, like the small goals, and just run over through those hurdles. And you'll be surprised when you look back, you're actually like, oh, I've done quite a lot.
And I think that's what many people have in Kingangai. The idea of, I want to get there, but I'm getting so frustrated that, you know, it's taking me time and it's going to take time.
Like, obviously, wonke umuntu uyazibona somewhere, you know. Siyazibona, let's go to Dubai, it's oh darling. But it's just like, you know, it's just like, I'm here right now, and I'm learning to accept where I am right now, and I'm learning that where I am right now is not the wrong place, you know. Where I am right now is where I'm supposed to be right now, you know. It's where I'm supposed to shine where you are, you know, like glorify God where you are, like He's given you talents, he's given you like a means and ways, and just take a moment to appreciate where you are right now, and then everything's gonna fall into place. I'm telling you this, but I'm also like telling it to myself. So
it's a constant thing.
So I'm also telling myself, no, everything's gonna fall into place, but I'm also like saying it that
Like with what you're saying, how do you feel like Christianity and your belief in God has grounded you and made you feel like you're okay? Like you speak now, you're saying you don't want to put pressure on yourself, you're just letting things come as they are and focus on smaller things. How do you feel like your Christianity and your belief in God aligns with where you are right now?
Christianity for me, obviously, so very like, I'll say fortunate at a very young age, and obviously I grew up in a Christian home, I went to a Christian school, but then for me, Christianity has played such a big role, because you know, in Christianity we see God or as the Father, and for me it's always played that role where vele baba I'm in a relationship young Mndela with my real father. So I've always seen God as the Father, and it's always been something that I run to, because you know you're supposed to run to your Father. So I felt like umuntu, that's the person I complain to, that's the person I tell all my worries to. And when you grow up without parents, that's the person you run to. So for me, that's just been such a big thing. Like my faith is like, it's crazy. I have a childlike faith. When I say like, I know that God's gonna pull me through this, I mean it. And because that's the only father I've ever known, really, you know. So it plays such a big like role in my life. It helps to know that when you feel like nobody else is there, you still got that person you can run to, and it's
stay with you every time.
And it's like having that father figure, because you know a lot of my peers and like other and most black families are buying, you know, asnabo baba, like also again. So for me, God and like Christianity, that's like been my father figure. That's like been my dad who's got my back, you know. So I'd say it played like a huge role in my life. The way I do most things, like when I feel excited, I'm trying to call. That's why I wake up and complain to, like, do I really have to? Can I? Should I? And it's like, no, just do it.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
Who's your role model?
Who's my role model? It's funny enough, I was asking people at work this question and I didn't think about it. Two people are my role models. I think I'd say my aunt, because to me she's just like superwoman. Like she also used to work as a domestic worker back in her days, but I mean, like, from there she just pulled herself through. She tries to go, she does business, she does this, like, she's just a graceful hustler, you know. And she just makes things happen, and she's got so much love. Sometimes it makes me so angry, because sometimes I watch people around her like hurt her, do like not being fair to her, but she still like approaches everything with so much grace. Like, she's such a lady about like everything, like every challenge in life, and she's like so strong and so calm. Some of the things she goes through, I imagine myself and I'm like, yo, I know it, never mind. I'm gone in Mzimkhulu River, throw myself, I am running, I'm jumping over the bridge, I am gone. But the way she does it is like so graceful. Like, if I can be able to handle half of the situations in my life the way she handles stuff, I am like done. I'm like, I've made it. And then my other role model, I'm not being weird, but I think I'm my own role model as well. Because I think I made it like through stuff, you know, and I look back and I'm just like, wow, I'm so proud of you, you know. There's a whole lot of things that go on in the world, and you've done this, you've done that. And, you know, looking back at like where I come from and like where I grew up, you know, a lot of people think maybe I shouldn't be where I am. I mean, it's all wrong. The picture's wrong. You know, a child grows up in Makaya, grows up in a children's home like this. If I didn't have an education, if I got pregnant as a teen, if it would somehow still be acceptable, that would be okay. But I didn't, you know. I made it. I took the status quo and I turned it around, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm proud of that.
I think that's such a beautiful thing that you say you're so proud of yourself, because I think it's one of the most difficult things. You don't see yourself as someone you can be proud of, a role model or whatever. So, what's your motto? What drives you?
What drives me? What drives me, like what helps me wake up in the morning, or what?
What motivates you?
What motivates me? What motivates me is that there's a whole lot of other people like me. There's a lot of kids growing up. Abanjenganami, abaqhamuka emakhaya, abaqhamuka from blended families like me. Abaqhamuka from endaweni where people didn't think they'd make it, you know? Where abaqhamuka from spaces, when they go into spaces, they don't belong. Like, abaqhamuka from with places where like people are like, yeah, it's fine. She's a Keisha at this place, it's fine.
And
you know, because that's successful for you. Usabenza, no, that's fine. There's a lot of it, but then what drives me is that I have to make it for them. Mhlawumbe akakazalwa for manje, okwamanje, mhlawumbe ukhona uhleli eBhulwa, mhlawumbe somewhere. I just do it for, because kuyashiwo empilweni ukuthi when wacanti abantu abakubukanga kodwa bakubukile, you know, you get these random times. That's how Phumla, yazi ngizwile ukuthi uthola umsebenzi kanjani, like congrats and whatever. I'm like, oh, I didn't even think no one knew about that. Like, no, sikubonile mfethu yazi avusebenza. I'm like, you know, so do it for yourself. I do it for myself to prove to myself that I can, but I also just do it for the other people that nobody really thinks much of, because I feel like I come from that sort of place where not I wasn't disregarded, but it's just I wasn't number one option. You know, there are kids who've gone to Mndela, who've gone to this and that high, who've grown up here, who've grown up there. They get first dibs, so I'm doing it for everybody else to get second, third dibs. And to just show them, to know, guys, actually we're here, we're killing it, and we can give other people go, you know. We were actually good and we're actually enough. Like, because I think mhlawumbe ekhaya ngingenalo imali or something, you know, why? But then it's just, I'm doing it to say, no, listen, you're great, you're rocking it, you're good enough, you've always been, you're born that way, and you always be good. So that's what I do.
Tell us about moving into your own space.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We're sitting right now at my home where I bought my own table and I assembled it together in this chair. I'm so proud of myself. I had like a whole board of things and I was working it out. I love my own space. I've always loved my own space.
Yeah.
I'm a very outgoing person, but I also I like to withdraw sometimes at times. So like having your own space just allows you to be you. Angisho ukuthi abantu bahlala ekhaya noma they're not yourselves. No guys, I know yourselves. But bohlala wedwa. I was just saying ukuthi if you just want to have egg and rice for supper, you're gonna do it. No one's gonna fight you for that. Why? If you want to have muesli and yogurt for supper, you're gonna do it. If you want to come home and be angry, you're gonna do it. Because you don't have to accommodate like abantu. So that's what I love about Tuxalanget. It's just like I'm my own thing. If I wanna feel like waking up at 12 and baking, no one's gonna be like, "Hey Mo, so I'm more fridge, yabona nje breadwinner." So I was like, "Well, what can you guess, man?" So that's the nice thing about Tuxalanget. It's just that you can do your own vibe and you can just like be yourself in your own space. I really love my own space. You can breathe and you can just be. So I like it. I think I should start hosting more, having more people in my space, but
it's your space.
Yeah, I'll just do things in my own time.
Yeah. Tell us about your first time leaving the country.
Yo. I was a gallivanting kid. I went everywhere. I don't remember the first time I went to it, but I had a lot of friends from school.
Tell us the one that you are so like you're proud of, or
my family started posting me from like the age of 5. So posting and if I get texting randomly and just say ungalali, wahle stop in this both. Yes, so those are my experiences of traveling. I just remember the one time they posted me to Joburg. I was very young. Maybe I was still in primary. So bangifake eteksini kuthiwa phakathi nendawo Menros izomi itekisi uphuma hamba waqhama bheka number plate ngalahleki. So yeah, ngempela Menros ngaphuma. I'm like, oh, my staff went to the loo, checked the taxi. I'm like, okay, cool, still same taxi, got in, back in. And then there's a place, I think before Josie, because I was told the taxi only stops Montrose and Josie, you know. And then the taxi went, and then and then and then mama and I was like, oh my gosh, my family would have lost me on that day because there were no cell phones, there was nothing. The only thing was mom was rank. So I'm just thinking that's the day where I'll be like, oh, I would have lost my family, like, you know. So those are like memories of traveling with me. Like I've been from a very my family from a very young age. They let us do your own thing, like just be. That's the nice thing with you. They just throw you in the water, and some other people think, oh, that's mean. You shouldn't have done that. But now I see the benefits, you know.
But even so, like in many black families, ingane is as boss.
Yeah.
And it became such a common thing that even if ingane ngene taxi and they're like, so people at taxi would help you find that place because they understood that Mama does not have money to go to Joburg with you. So they're saying, I want you to have the experience, but it's gonna be hard getting there.
Yeah. So they used to post me like. Almost every week I used to go to Eskoleni, drop in, and then Fridays go home. And those are cool traveling memories of me. And traveling for me is fun because I don't have a car right now, so sometimes I use a taxi, and it's amazing, like the taxi stories and the taxi drama. Oh my god, I feel like every time when days something's gonna happen. Someone's gonna do something. You know, it's like it's about change, and I think I want a car now, but I'm not gonna say you know, whatever days, you know, I'm not gonna look down because this thing is and it's such fun experiences, and I think umuntu ongazi ayigibele itekisi khona that thing they've missed out. And you learn a lot from ukuba erenki, from being in those surroundings. You learn a lot about abantu, and you learn some maths. If you didn't do maths at school, go to a taxi. We'll teach you something. Maybe the hard way. Yeah. The hard way.
Sometimes it's the hard way.
It is the hard way. That's how life is. It is the hard way.
And never on any extra money, so it's just like,
and you've just given it to everybody and you're getting
like, when you keep money, you're like, hey, when I text you again, I'm just like, okay. But it's just like that, and like the past few months, I've been like, my taxi experiences have been like the funniest. There was like a taxi fight, and they were like fighting next to me, and I'm just like, don't touch me, okay? And they were like going for it, and I was just like, oh my gosh. And there's just always this random guy who thinks he's gonna change your life, is gonna marry you, is gonna, I don't know, take you to Gandla like I want. Like, and just like, it's so much fun. Like, taxi life is so much fun. That's like, those are stories of like traveling with me. It's just like traveling, get see. I mean, you go places, but I just like, because my work also allows me to travel a lot, so I get to see a lot of like communities, and I get to engage with like a lot of people, and it's just amazing the things like you learn from people. I mean, I believe you can learn from Nomuba, whichever class they're in, because no one is below or above you. And I think once you understand that local in life, you start to appreciate abantu more. Ukuthi lo mama oklinayo emsebenzini akahlukile kune CEO yakho, ukhona like ongakufunda kuyena. So that's for me, it's just like, yeah, being around. And like Durban is a wonderful place. Guys, I know people from Durban, you hate town, but go to town. Town gives you wake up, you know someone, I'm sorry guys, but you guys don't know the half of it. You can't like, it's so irritating being in town with somebody who's never been in town. And it's just so irritating being anywhere. Like guys, if you have a car and stuff, but just take yourself out there, like do those things. Nothing is below or above you. So for me, commuting, especially in Durbs, it's just been, I'm looking at myself and and looking at myself now, saying good director manje. Like, and she's like, oh okay, I'm on that level now. I'm on that level. I even know how to negotiate with paras, guys, and I'm like, you know, I'm just like, that's just like, I feel like
that's the human in you.
It is. It's just like, it's so amazing. Like, I mean, paras are not like my best friends, but you just like, you understand just how to maneuver yourself in life when you're just willing to ufunde about abantu and ungazi exclude from abantu and you know yonke leyo. So that's for me, just because I've been in Durbs, I've been in Cape Town as well, like working, and I've been like back home. But I think for me, Durban has just been one of those places where like I think I'd actually like to make a life here, you know. We've got the beach, we've got the mountains,
nature,
we've got
beautiful nature.
We've got Zulu taxi drivers. Who does not want to see those people in life? You know? We've just got kumnandi eThekwini, guys. Like, it's so much fun, you know. And for me, you should know, like Cape Town, yeah, ngifuna ukuhlala la. But then ngafika eThekwini, and I'm like, actually kumnandi la, ziyakhipha la eThekwini. I'm not saying that like you see me in Florida every week. I hardly go out, but it's just like abantu balana. I'm happy with them, you know. I'm happy with those people, and I'm happy. Like I'm in a happy space. Like
beautiful.
I love it.
That is beautiful. It's Women's Month.
Yeah.
And you're a woman.
I am. I am a woman.
What would be a message for? I don't know. I want to emphasize what you're saying about, you know, being the light of where you are, and also just being happy, you know, and understanding that things will work out. What would be the message for this is any Bogoto out there who are hustling and who are, you know, working their butts off?
At times I don't feel like I'm qualified to give Black people advice or stuff, because I just feel like we're all going through like something. But I think once you understand that you're occupying a space on earth, and uNkulunkulu angaze akufake emhlabeni just for ubala. Like once you understand ukuthi you're here for a reason, then you start finding your whys. You start. So I think my message would be just know that you're here, and by virtue of being alive and breathing, you're here to make a difference, either in somebody else's life or whatever. So once you understand that you're here and it's important, because a lot of people struggle with that. So why like why but once you understand what you're enough, like, and keep telling yourself that every morning, like, I'm here for a reason, I'm enough, no matter what's going on right now. I'm enough, then you start just building from there. So that's my message. Just know that you're enough and you're good where you are.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Phumla.
Thank you.